Although these little punks aren't worth mentioning, Dalton ended up making an enemy of Brant, and by the next day, the whole town knew his name. Dalton visited the bookstore to chat with Charlie, while Brant's thugs caused a ruckus next door. Charlie couldn't stand it and went out to shoo them away. Just as that big guy was about to make a move, Dalton stepped out too, only to realize it was best to wave the white. Girls like Charlie are a rare gem here, kind-hearted yet willing to stand up for herself. Later, on the yacht, one of the lackeys reported to Boss Brant, as half of the other goons were still laid up in the hospital. Looks like the harassment at the hotel will have to be put on hold. Brant is just a useless trust fund kid. Ever since his dad went to jail, he's been trying to prove something to him, but his crew is a bunch of misfits. During this time, although there were still fights breaking out at the hotel, Dalton didn't even have to lift a finger thanks to his guy. Just a few people could take care of them quite nicely, and Dalton usually kept to himself. Besides chatting with Charlie at the bookstore, he usually spent his time alone, thinking time would just drift by until he bumped into Will, freshly out of the hospital, that is. Oh. What's the reason for the delay, huh? Actually afraid of this big car? Come on now, at least while we're enjoying Jengi's OT, Dalton's alright. But by the time he returned to the small boat, Will was already there, waiting patiently with a gun in his hand. In a split second, Dalton tossed Will into the water. He simply didn't have the intention of taking a life. He forgot crocodiles were in there. By the time he wanted to save him, it was too late. So Will ended up as a snack. The next day, when the cops showed up to fish for a body, all they found was a big zero after searching everywhere. This really escalated things between Dalton and Brant, but Dalton still didn't seem to care. As he stepped out slowly from Charlie's bookstore, Brant's thugs came knocking at his door once more. Hey, let's get going and hit the road. Quickly. The boss wants to have a word, and they flashed their guns, thinking this would intimidate Dalton. Little did they know, Dalton couldn't care less. The other guy was so aggressive that Dalton almost laughed. Looks like it's time to teach him what intimidation really means. You have a guy talking to your shoulder isn't exactly thrilling, right? What are you saying? I just need to hold down your middle finger. There's no way I'll hold onto that gun. Sure, you can grab it, but you won't get to blast it off. Not exactly exciting, huh? Here's a useless piece of crap for you, jerk. Here's a damn piece of crap for you, you scumbag. You actually ripped my butt apart. Just take a good look at the kind of suffering I'm in. You are not exactly a marksman or whatever. I can shoot, but you probably hate guns, right? I just want to leave the gun in the car to let the boss know if he wants to talk. They'll be working on the road in there every day, getting handed by these weaklings, which is starting to annoy Dalton. He approached Frankie to ask what these guys were all about, always keeping an eye on the restaurant, and Frankie's answer was, he didn't know either. Seeing he couldn't get any answers, Dalton stopped asking questions but knew something fishy was going on. The Brant family is basically the puppet master behind Glass Island. They've got a development project in the works, but they can't seem to grab that restaurant land, so they keep searching. Just then, Dad called, but Brant didn't even dare pick it up and chucked his phone straight into the sea. Caught red-handed, he remained cool. After bidding the beauty farewell, he strutted into the night market. After taking a couple of steps, he suddenly noticed a tall guy's clothes that appeared to be quite suitable. This burly and muscular man is named Knox. Knox is the muscle hired by Brant's dad, and it's pretty obvious he's there for Dalton. Meanwhile, Dalton was blissfully unaware. He was being invited out by a doctor. They took a speedboat heading straight into the deep sea, where there was a shallow area. Enjoying a couple of drinks, Ellie confessed her feelings to Dalton, but the good times didn't last long. After Ellie dropped Dalton off, the cops showed up at her place, and the sheriff gave Dalton quite the talking to. What do you think you were doing? Come on, Dalton. Turns out the sheriff is Ellie's dad. He used to work for the Brant family, and they act like they're in the tourism business. But the real money-making scheme is dealing drugs, which isn't far off from what Dalton guessed. This made him start to think whether he should dive into the smoky water. Come nighttime, Brant showed up at the hotel himself. He pulled out some old footage of Dalton killing it in the rain, ready to roast him a bit. Dalton surprisingly didn't say a word. As Brant left, Knox and his crew waltzed in, causing mayhem, flaunting their arrogance and insane strength. In no time, the entire restaurant was in chaos, but Dalton didn't budge an inch from his spot. Upon hearing his name called out, Dalton reluctantly stepped up to face Knox. Knox is just plain crazy. He loves the thrill of a fight. Dalton wasn't afraid of Knox, he was afraid of himself. He once knocked someone dead in the octagon because, once he got angry, his body went on autopilot until the other guy stopped breathing. He didn't want to fight Brant, he just wanted to engage with him. The Dalton didn't dare, he just wanted to engage. All he wanted was to engage, to get into it. He just wanted to engage. He didn't want to keep getting involved with the Brant family, fearing he might end up killing someone, so he did his best to hold himself back against Knox. After being tossed out the door, Dalton got back up, showcasing a killer look, but he still held back. Back on the boat, Dalton packed up, ready to leave when Frankie rushed in to stop him. Frankie admitted to hiding the truth, had known from the start why Brant was causing trouble for him, thinking Dalton was afraid of his strength. So he chose to leave. Are they intimidating you? Are you really scared? Yes, I am. More than you could ever understand, Dalton headed to the station with his luggage.